sweetest flower, a burn in my veins, a churn in my stomach. Every word you speak makes my bones weak with that intoxicating power. Your hold on me like the need for the sun. You are a burning light, the flame to my moth. How can it be that I'd be safer in the shadows, but I can't run? No, I won't run. I know it's not right, but I can't help but smile. The waves crash against the rocks, but I'm not gonna fight. This isn't giving up, this is only giving in. This is only giving in. I know you don't mean half of what you say. The meanest of words hidden behind the sweetest of lies. I won't cry, but the clouds will do it for me. Tomorrow's another day. I know it's not right, but I can't help but strive. The waves crash against the rocks, but I might try to fight. This isn't giving up, this is only giving in. This is only giving in. Your hold on me like a poison from the sweetest flower. The world is at our fingertips through little screens and downcast views. Those high-rise towers hide away the sun, and the clouds have muddied your gaze. Has the end of wonder only just begun? Your hands were once so strong, carving wood and making melodies. Now they press on plastic keys all day. In that gray box you sit in dusk till dawn. Don't you just wanna get away? When was the last time you looked up, brushed through galaxies and fireflies made for wide eyes? We're all made of cosmic dust, but where has the magic gone? Chasing after satellites instead of shooting stars. I want this world to be redrawn. I want this world to be redrawn. People walk, closed hearts, passing by without a second thought. Are they stuck? How do we break them free? I just want to paint them the colors of their souls, to show them how beautiful this world can be. When was the last time you looked up, brushed through galaxies and fireflies made for wide eyes? We're all made of cosmic dust, but where has the magic gone? Chasing after satellites instead of shooting stars. I want this world to be redrawn. mountains turn pink under the setting sun. The sky set ablaze with the passion of nature. Let the rainbow of our world remind you that you were once a vibrant creator. When was the last time you looked up, brushed through galaxies and fireflies made for wide eyes? We're all made of cosmic dust, but where has the magic gone? Chasing after satellites instead of shooting stars. I want this world to be redrawn. I want this world to be redrawn. We're all made of cosmic dust. Where has the magic gone? Chasing after satellites instead of shooting stars. I want this world to be redrawn. I want this world to be redrawn.
Just had a long day at work, sitting at my desk, ready to walk home. Can't wait to boot up my phone on my boring stroll. Jump into some AR, goodness, see my little buddies. Gotta catch 'em all, keeping my soul alive. Just a wage slave by day, but a master at night. I log into my favorite app, see my Pikachu waving at me. What is that beside my best buddy? The way the Lord update, nobody asked for, hit with the ugly stick of, oh my God, what is that? Hey, hey, Pokemon Go, hack yourself. Now you can look as ugly in the game as you are in real life. Hey, you got no shape and your crotch is 2 feet long. What the hell is this pilot done? I think I'll carve my eyes out with a knife. Standing looking at this new abomination, ready to toss my phone. There they go again, making dumb decisions. I just want to catch my gosh dang Caterpie's. Been playing since 2016. But this might finally break my Pokemon spree. Hey, 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 Pokemon Go, hack yourself. Now you can look as ugly in the game as you are in real life. Hey, you got no shape and your crotch is 2 feet long. What the hell is this pilot done? I think I'll carve my eyes out with a knife. Hey, hey, Pokemon Go, hack yourself. Now you can look as ugly in the game as you are in real life.
Yay, did it! Oh god, I don't even know if I'm too loud or not. I really hope that the sound is okay, everybody. Yay! Yay! Welcome to the HR basement. I am your certified HR female, and the camera's off kilter. Oh boy, we're super professional here, everybody. I finally did it. It's our first stream. There's about, oh god, now there's 25 more people than I was expecting. I was honestly expecting literally 0. So this is now 25 more people. I'd rather have like maybe negative viewership. I don't know. Get the ghosts watching. We'll see. Oh, there's a ghost. Yay. So today I thought it would be super cool to talk about some of the things that are going on in the Twitter world. Obviously, we have many, many complaints from all over the board, some of which don't really make a lot of sense and seem to be fabricated in an air of mystery, coming out of nowhere, and also at the same time with other complaints from other places. So this is the first episode in what will hopefully be a series. I will play around with starting times and things like that. So we're just going to get all these silly little things out of the way. An introduction to the HR department. You are being watched, oh dear. I'm always being watched, but so are you. Big Brother is always there. Now, let's go ahead and jump into our first story of the day. I don't know how I want to actually do these. The first complaint filed, that sort of thing. Obviously, Twitter has erupted with I don't even know how to express this, with pizzazz, with a fire, with a vengeance, after an article or a long post, I don't know what you would call it, from the Weibo website came out, basically stating that the Wukong developers were extorted for a possible figure of $7 million if they did not, or that's what SBI was supposedly charging them, and basically threatening them, saying it would be a shame if somebody wrote something negative about your game before it even comes out if you don't hire us. Wouldn't that be awful? Wouldn't that be terrible? It would be just terrible, wouldn't it? Oh, no. But so back in 2023, a strange article came out, supposedly out of left field. Nobody really knew where this was coming from, written by Rebecca Valentine. How Black Myth Wukong developers' history of sexism is complicating its journey to the West. This is a very interesting headline that is being portrayed in a manner of there's so many complaints, this is not a fabrication, and we got sources. Indie developer Game Science's global fame is forcing it to confront its own sexism and that of the Chinese tech industry. Now, there's a lot of things that could be said about China. There's a lot of things that can be said about America, too. And I don't really like talking about the vagueness of it. And it's really important that you talk about specific things. Now, they attempt to get specific in this article, but most of it is framed in such a specific way where they're very careful to avoid any form of lawsuit or definitive statements. The lack of a definitive statement speaks volumes, and it makes you wonder who their sources were. Now, we've recently had, in the past few months, individuals similar to this Rebecca, who have run with stories and information that were later easily verifiable to be false. So, knowing that these type, who are game journalists, are so overzealous and so eager to present information that they don't check anything, it just makes you wonder who they're talking to and where they're getting this information from. There were a few lines in this specifically that did stand out to me. In the eyes of many female players. Who is the many female players? Who is this? There must be public records. There must be somewhere. If there are so many females who are upset about this, surely you could find somebody on Twitter who has complained, or not even just Twitter, but some other location, a Chinese forum or something like that. It's very unusual to me that they would come out like this. IGN spoke to several women familiar with gaming culture. Again, what does that mean? I'm a woman who is familiar with the gaming culture. I was not spoken to. Where was my interview? I could have told you the words and the things of which you are looking for. Well, I guess they wouldn't have been what they were looking for because it would have just been the truth. And to be quite honest, yes, there are problems in the Chinese gaming world, but it's very specific and strange. The most recent, controversy is male Chinese gamers are boycotting gacha games because they're putting male characters in the gacha games and they only want them to be their waifu collector. Which, you know what? I get it, okay? Everybody just wants their waifu collector. Oh, man. How are you? I'm doing great. I have no idea what that means. These people are literally terror. They are terror. They are absolutely terror. Who puts a line like this in here? What? I seriously, this alone makes me, like, as if I was this individual's editor, which I have never been an editor in my life outside of college, but I have watched my work get critiqued by people who know what they're doing. If I had a line like this, or if I tried to submit something like this in a science report, it would get tossed. It would be laughed at. It would be thrown out. What does this mean? Who are these women? Give us some interesting things, you know? It's very baffling. I admire their dedication and work. I had high expectations for their game until I came across misogynistic remarks around 2021, which was reported in the news. Where's the news? Where is it? That's just my complaint. Why aren't you adding these things in? And then these things. These are very, very silly. So then we come down here. Where is it? This has been going around on Twitter. This mistranslated set of words here. Now, why do we know that it's mistranslated? Well, because Chinese individuals came out and explained it, and it happened at the time that this came out. But I don't really care about this. What I want to do is look at how we got to this point. Why are we back talking about an article that was written in 2023? Again, it came from the Weibo thing. Oh, I love it when this happens. I can't wait for everything to get mucked up and me show the wrong thing. I can't wait for that to happen, by the way. Total not YouTube professional. But so this is kind of where everything started, right? So we have the Chinese media, the black myth Wukong refused to be extorted for $7 million, which is what we talked about in the beginning by Sweet Baby. In English, which is this translation here from it, which, by the way, we also have this wonderful individual here who's just regurgitating the IGN article, I guess. Very nice. The reason why the team behind Black Myth Wukong has been subjected to persistent sexist attacks and slander since their first promotional video is because they have consistently refused political correctness guidance and rejected the extortionate guidance fees of millions of dollars demanded by these political correctness teams. Additionally, such teams are quite common in Europe and America. They interfere with works like Assassin's Creed, Dying Light 2: Stay Human, and God of War by pushing for politically correct female protagonists. These changes are the direct result of the interference and guidance of such teams. Game science teams refused to communicate with these groups and rejected their interference. Most importantly, they refused to pay the exorbitant $7 million in guidance fees. This is the direct reason why they are being attacked and slandered. Some justifications are based on the team's lack of diversity or representation, which doesn't align with the political correctness standards. A typical example is an article by major IGN writer criticizing Hogwarts Legacy and refusing to evaluate or promote it due to its alleged lack of political correctness. So, this is where all of this came from, right? This post, this Weibo post. Kojima made a comment on it. Somebody responded, regurgitating. I can talk, I swear. I'm also trying not to cough. But they're regurgitating the IGN. So my whole point to this is 10 years ago, we might have looked at this and said, that's a big dollar figure. There's no way that they're doing that, right? That just sounds so crazy and wild. There's no way. There's no way. But then we look at today, and we look at where we are, and we look at behavioral patterns. And we have ample proof that state, yes, actually, this is very believable. It's so believable that a game about a mythical monkey would be targeted by Western politically correct groups who try to sell a problem, or try to sell... They are a problem. They try to sell a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. And here we are. So, I'm not going to read, obviously, everything I wrote. None of you people want to... You can go to my Twitter and read my words, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to look at this real quick. So, this is what I mean by a history and a pattern of behavior. This is the SBI founder giving a talk at something. This is one particular location. that is different from other locations of which they've given talks at. Now, I hope that I don't blast your ears out and break things, so I apologize if the sound is poo-poo.
Have a coffee with marketing so that you can absolutely terrify them by telling them, here's what's going to happen if you don't do this. Have a coffee with marketing so that you can absolutely terrify them by telling them, here's what's going to happen if you don't do this.
Now, for those who cannot hear, or if I blasted you into deafness, she says, have a talk with your marketing team. Absolutely terrify them. A threat, the use of fear, bullying. These are not tactics by an individual who knows that they are worth something in this industry. They rely on fear to be hired. Why is this important? Some people might say, oh, she's doing it out of pocket. It's a joke. You're taking it seriously. You make people cry on Overwatch. Why are you upset by this? Well, I'm going to tell you why I'm upset by this. Because either she's really lame and can't come up with different material, or it's a pattern and she's telling the truth.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years,
because we have another clip.
Your higher ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want. If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many.
Now, again, you could say, well, it's just her rehearsed thing. It's just her out-of-pocket line. But she expands on it here. This is a pattern. Now, what else can we connect this to? You could turn up the volume for your browser. Oh, aye, puppy dog, why? Everybody freeze. We must take a moment to admire the bear for 2 seconds. I don't know if you can see him. He's here with me. I don't know why he just made a yelp. I think he might have been scratching himself. So I have to give my doggy some love. I'm sorry. Mercante gonna fight you? Look, she can challenge me all she wants, but I want to know why. You know, if she wants to. I don't think she's really interested in fighting me. I'm nobody, all right? Nobody gives a shit about me. But, yes, hi, doggo, everybody's saying. And he's just looking at me like, Mama, I just want to go outside. Anyway, what was I saying before the doggo needed attention? We have a pattern of behavior, right? So we have a pattern of behavior. So here we have 2 different clips at 2 different locations during 2 different points of time. Yes, son, hello. We have 2 different clips from 2 different points in time at 2 different locations where she is speaking and saying essentially the same thing, that we need to use fear to get people to hire us. Now, how can we back up that information and prove that this is in fact a pattern of behavior? Well, look no further than Chris Kindred. How did all of this start with Gamergate? How did all of this get Streisand into existence? Oh, God. 41. That is 41 more people than I expected to be here. But thank you, everybody, for coming to listen to me ramble. Now, we have a history of behavior from Chris Kindred, who Streisand the whole Gamergate thing into existence by attacking Cabrutus and not only demanding that the Steam curator list get reported, but that his personal account be reported as well with the intention, yes, Bear, with the intention, I know, believe it or not, with the intention of losing his Steam games, his precious games. I know, Bear, that's terrible. It's absolutely horrific behavior. But guess what it's doing? It's employing the use of fear. It is stating that if you do something like this, we're going to make sure that you lose everything you love. Because a gamer cares about their games. They don't want to lose their games, obviously, especially if you are in a non-USD currency location, because then the games actually cost a little bit more too. Your passion is expensive sometimes. So we have that first big public display of the use of intimidation. Now, if we keep going with that, guess what else Chris Kindred has done, especially recently? I know, Bear. Hey, he's agreeing. Oh, you're making a cameo too? I've gone, what have we got here? We got 25 minutes in before we got our first cameo and all the lights gonna get smackledorfed here. Now people can see how white I am. Stop it. He's taking the dog outside for me. Oh my goodness. But anyway, this is what professional streaming looks like. So, what has Chris Kindred done recently? Apparently, they've tried to get GT fired from a job that I don't even think he actually works at anymore, because he called in and attempted again to say, hey, this person's being racist and making an audience of non-white people for whatever reason. I don't think that they knew. They knew what they were saying, or I don't know if the quote was exactly accurate, but basically they were trying to get JT fired or confirm that he worked there so that way they could file a complaint. Now again, that is the use of intimidation. That is not okay. And this person is still employed by SBI. Who else do we have who works at SBI? Well, we've got Lego Butts, who has a history of saying really inappropriate things for the last 10 years. And as much as I don't typically like to talk about anonymous sources, because I'm very much so one of the public people, but I've had a few people reach out to me and say, yeah, I've seen you comment on this, and they're just as much a piece of shit behind the scenes as they are in front of everything. So, take that as you will. But again, that's coming from an anonymous source. I talked at length with them, but I can't obviously reproduce that conversation for you guys. So I always just try to, I prefer commenting on publicly available things, but it was just interesting that people reached out like that. But you never know what's being said with an anonymous source. That's why I try not to write about it. But I guess on live, I'll comment on it. See, look at me. I ramble. I'm great at rambling. Anyway, so we have these two instances here where Kim uses the exact same, the fear. And then we have two other employees who resort to insulting, saying mean things, using fear and intimidation to try to bully people into either their way of thinking or doing what they want. So that's not okay. The rest of Grum's, by the way, this all came from Grum's. He's really good at compiling the information and putting things together. He'll often include videos and things like that with video evidence. He talks about some of the other individuals in the circle as well. We've also recently had Jason go a little bit viral. And can you please stop? I'm live streaming for the first time in so long, and everybody's just making noise. But yeah, so we have the usual. We have, Alyssa, who works for Kotaku, who wrote the hit piece on Kabrutus. We have Rebecca, who defends Alyssa and writes hit pieces on other games. And then we have Jason, who gaslights you into saying that it's all hallucination and it isn't happening, when it very much so is happening, and we can see it happening. And I'm not too sure why he would say it's a hallucination, because the companies put out their own information stating that they're doing things, and it's not really lining up with good workplace practices that we're seeing. So that's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Yeah. This was another good one. Here's another one. So I think a lot of people remember this. I was not as active on Twitter back when this happened. During the first Gamergate, I hate using the words because they're so vague, but I guess I don't really have a better replacement for it. But during the first Gamergate, we had Anita Sarkeesian. Is that her name? We have Anita, who publicly said, hey, CD Projekt Red, I'm always available for consulting because it sure sounds like you might need it before the whole internet drags you for what sounds like some potentially sexist representations, which we all know you've struggled with in the past. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this fits that pattern of behavior that I was talking about. There is the use of fear and intimidation there to get what you want, to make yourself look important and employable. Without that language, no one would have said, what the fuck is this? Because the only reason why we know about it now and why we're talking about it now is because she used threatening language. If an individual like me suddenly tagged, hey, BioWare, you guys have an issue with not representing green alien sexy women. Hit me up, bro. Nobody cares about that, right? But if I drop the line, hey, BioWare, you've got an issue with not displaying your flat-chested women, right? Which we all know that your CEO hates flat-chested women, and I'm about to expose you for some shit. You should contact me, or else. You know? Like then people are gonna be like, what the fuck is that? So that presentation matters. Oh, I like that scam skeezian. That's a good one. Because guess what? This really is all just a giant scam. These people are not employable, and especially if you have to use fear language, it shows that you're pretty freaking worthless. So it's not that the devs themselves are weak and don't have balls. It's that the lighting has shifted. Okay, bye. I am streaming. Hello. But yeah, so it's not that these devs are necessarily weak and spineless. In the beginning, it came from a genuine place where they just wanted to do right by how do I say this actually? They just wanted to do what sounded good at the time, which is what most people do. Your average individual isn't looking at Twitter. Your average individual isn't looking and keeping track of an entire history and pattern of behaviors. And because we're seeing developers now start to speak out about it, that shows that there's a shift and they're tired of it, right? So in the beginning, they're like, oh, well, you know, if this is the way that things are going, maybe we should listen to them, because they used fear, right? The average person just wants to create something, but they don't want to necessarily upset someone. Most people don't go out of their way to do something that would trigger somebody else. You know, that's just not in our, it's not in our normal biology. It's not in our normal psychology. So that's kind of how they weaseled their way in. And this is the same tactics that they're using, like hackers to break. Yes, just like hackers to break into services, and then they say, "Hey, we're going to release all this shit if you don't give us money." You know, it is extortion at the end of the day. So, you know, at the smaller scale, it is easier to speak out than it is at the larger scale. So places like Sony, Nintendo, Activision, Blizzard, you're not going to see as many people speak out because, one, it's full of DEI hires, and two, it's a little bit harder to speak out against something larger because that something larger is much more intimidating. If I have my own studio and it's just me and 15 other people and nobody's funding us, it's way easier to, you know, put your opinions out there and say, hey, we don't need this. Hey, we don't believe in that. If we really have to, you know? But an individual working on a game for a major studio, or even for a studio that's owned by a major publisher, you know, they kind of have to walk a slightly finer line because they signed contracts. And within those contracts, you're usually told, you can't say anything bad about the company. You can't say disparaging things, even if it's true. You know, it's one thing to say Blizzard is making napalm bombs in their basement. That's obviously a fucking lie, and that's, you know, something that would be just used to hurt Blizzard. But, you know, so that's bad. But, you know, if Blizzard's doing, you know, like the sexual assault stuff, you know, people looked at their contracts and like, oh, I can't say this because, well, it would be bad and they'll fire me and then I won't have a job and then I'll get blacklisted. So that's why there's a big difference here. And it's hard for people to want to come forward because obviously there's a difference between fiction and then what the real problems are. But the real problems, you know, you're still going to get intimidated and threatened and all this stuff. Basically, it's one big mess of fuckery. And that's why typically people don't say bad things about the places that they've worked. They also don't want to burn bridges because, again, the average person... So that's how Cataclysm happened. Yes. The average person doesn't want to burn bridges. They just want to move on with their life, right? You know, they're not trying to live in the past, and they're not trying to really upset anything or upset anybody. They just want to keep going in their own career too. It's very hard to be somebody who would draw attention to themselves like that. Because again, the average person doesn't typically want that. It's kind of like, if I could just equate it to myself to better articulate this point. When I first wrote about the Take This organization and the government funding, I was actually very, very scared once I realized that the tweet I put out gained traction. And, you know, big accounts were retweeting it and talking about it. And then I was getting DMs and all these things. It was very scary. It was all publicly available information. But to have so many eyes on my words was genuinely a scary thing. And it shook me to my core a little bit. And I was like, oh God, you know, I'm used to just having like maybe 5 likes at most. And that's it. You know, nobody comments on anything that I put out there. But to have so much attention and so much conversation come from that, it was quite scary. And again, that was all, again, just publicly available information. But it was still, you know, it's still scary. And so for people who are coming from a more personal place who can't necessarily say, here's the backup as well, you know, to my claims, you know, that they can't do that because there's no public available information. So it's a lot scarier in that regard. So I understand why people don't come forward as much. But yeah, so it's just sad. To bring it back to the whole point, these people use fear and intimidation to get what they want, and it's not cool. It's really not. So Blizzard isn't making boom booms in the basement, but they might have great tensions down there. I don't know if that's a joke or if that's just a joke. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. People just want to improve their careers, which is, you know, that's a totally normal thing to do. Here we have, so Duck Valentine, I didn't know I was blocked, but she went private, and Grums, again, wonderful individual. Make sure that you follow him. He's worked on all the things that we loved about Blizzard in the beginning. Again, he's super good at compiling information and putting out the images and the videos to go along with it. So I guess she tweeted out, "Oh no, a washed up clown man figured out I think women are people. Whatever will we do?" This is another tactic that they use that I absolutely hate. It completely detracts from the actual point of anything and tries to put themselves on a pedestal instead of answering for the specificity of what they've said. This is why I hate vague language. This is why you don't catch me using things like woke. I try to use the terms left and right as a demographic qualifier, but it doesn't represent the whole of my point. You know, I try to be very specific. So when they use language like this, it shows that they are incapable of having a proper conversation. I don't really have the time or interest in getting into a fist fight with a little baby. Now notice here, this is also very interesting. You could actually think that she was talking about Alyssa. I don't like talking about certain people, you know, outside of what they do, but we obviously can't avoid the conversation that Alyssa has attempted to get into physical fights and invited people for it, which is something that is never a good thing. I don't think anybody, tangent, I don't think anybody should ever say the line, "Come find me, come fight me." There are sick people online who will take it too far. This isn't a sides thing. This is just a human thing. And there is a chance that that could happen. There are just some things you don't need to say on the internet. You don't have to say certain things to an audience. It doesn't make you look tough, but it can open you up to unintended consequences that nobody should have to deal with. So I'm just going to put that out there. So she says, "I don't really have any time or interest in getting into a fist fight with a little baby, so I will continue to not be on Twitter and do actual journalism about actual fucking issues." Again, this is attempting to prop herself up to look like somebody who is doing something of value. Writing hit pieces on video games that haven't even come out yet at the behest of individuals who use threatening language to get what they want is not important. It's insane. If Alyssa is counting on someone being crazy enough to attack her so she can pretend to be a victim, people will still point back to that video. And even though her little circle might say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry for you," you know, and the rest of us will be like, "Oh my God, that's terrible. You shouldn't do that." You know, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to be taken seriously in this day and age. It's really not, because we are at a turning point. Everything is now so easily linked. Everybody is getting fact checked. You can't just lie anymore. You couldn't lie. You shouldn't have lied before, but now you just can't. It's too easy and it's too fast to check people now. So it's just concerning, and I think it's stupid. And if that's really the route, I don't know. but it's dumb. Taking things to a physical place is stupid. It's juvenile. I'll give you up until college. We're not in college anymore. I think I've said it publicly, high school. I'll take it all the way up to, 20, 25 years old. But yeah, if you lie about a lie, isn't that the truth? No, it's just an inception level lie, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so anyway, so you could argue she's talking about Alyssa, who knows? But she does try to make herself look bigger than she is. And it's just not constructive. Sorry, one more thing. I just found the post they're mad about where they think IGN and SBI are extorting game science for $7 million because Chex Notes, a random Chinese tech blogger they read in translation on Twitter, says so. Motherfucker! You wrote an article for IGN that they published based off of anonymous claims. Anonymous. Females familiar with the game industry. And you want us to take you seriously, but you don't want us to take this individual seriously. It is mind-blowing how unaware they are. I am so confused by this because even they reference Weibo. Jen, name withheld, anonymous pseudonym. Who are you? Who are you? Who are internet females? Who are people in the industry? Who? You want us to blindly take your words because your words were published by IGN. But we can't do the same? That's insane to me. That is wild behavior, and it is so unaware. How do you sit there and not draw the link? But Savvy, it's different because they're a journalist. They probably went to college and got a journalism degree. Okay, well, let's go a step further. I have a biology degree and I was taught how to write. I was taught about the scientific method and nothing about what Rebecca's put out is fucking reproducible. So, if we're gonna compare degrees, my degree program laughs at your degree program. What now, bitch? I'm sorry. I shouldn't be name calling. It's juvenile, but it's just incredible how absolutely unaware they are. It was like Kotaku had a headline that said the latest rage bait. I'm like, is that irony? Are you poking fun at us right now? They had very credible sources. Nothing more reliable than women familiar with gaming. All right, well, as now a credible source, I am a woman who is familiar with gaming, and I'm going to go ahead and say that, hey, all of that's a little bit bullshit, and I've got some questions. It's just fascinating. It's a fascinating behavior that all I can do is really laugh at it. That just because you think that you are getting published by IGN, who has lost all credibility and worth in the industry, that you think that you're somehow on this pedestal. It's silly. It's so silly. That's not how journalism works. I don't even think I need my headset. Why am I wearing it? I'm not listening to anything. I'm so used to it because I'm like, we're going to phone in with somebody. But yeah, we're the bad guys. We're the bad guys because we find publicly verifiable information and say, hey, this is what's happening. And then they say, no, it's not. You don't know what you're talking about because you're not a journalist. Nobody's publishing you. Well, that's the cool thing about today's day and age. Nobody has to get published anymore. Just again, because you work for an outlet doesn't mean it's a good, reputable outlet that's doing anything of value for anybody. It's wild. It is wild and insane. Now, let's keep going with patterns and behaviors, which I'm now washing myself out with because this is a white background. The facts are, in fact, hateful. I do know this. The facts are very hateful. They're terrible things that just disprove all of the lies that somebody whose entire existence is based off of fifis just doesn't like. Woman, did they speak to the host of The View? Oh, Jesus Christ. You know what? Maybe we should get Joe Biden's opinion on video games. I'd like to hear that. I actually would. That would be very funny. So continuing on with patterns of behavior. How long have I... Oh my God, I've turned this into a 45-minute stream already. Jeez, time goes by so quickly. I'm sorry if I ramble a lot. It's just what I'm used to. I have a lot of thoughts that necessarily don't always flow together. But they're here and I'm here to talk. Assassin's Creed Shadows executive producer says Elon Musk is just feeding hatred. This is, again, something that I really enjoy, and we're going to jump into that really quickly. With the reaction to the game's black protagonist, was it really the black protagonist that's the problem, or maybe it's your portrayal of the black protagonist? Musk claims that the use of the historical figure was part of an initiative that kills art. Tell me how that's hatred, by the way. An appeal isn't I'm a journalist and you aren't an appeal to authority fallacy. Oh, isn't that funny indeed? Look at that oppressiveness happening. The journalist is attempting to oppress and beat down the common man, saying, shut up, you don't know how to journalism. Stop speaking. But yeah, so Fraser Brown published yesterday this little story about the producer who later on says that they were so angry. The tweet generated emotions that the first thing I wanted to do was go back on X that I had deleted and just tweet back, says the producer. For me, Elon, it's sad he's just feeding hatred. Opinions are hate. I had a lot of 3-word replies that came to mind. But he didn't reply to Musk. By attacking someone like Elon, I will not convince people about our point of view as a team. And that's true. By attacking people, it has nothing to do with the fact that it's Elon. By attacking someone, leave out the Elon, I will not convince people about our point of view as a team. It's very, very true. It's very true. Where's the part where he says he opens up the frickin' app? I should have just highlighted this stuff previously. Professional streamer right here. But anyway, so I agree with this. But the tweet generated emotions. What does this mean? That the first thing I want to do is go on X and tweet back. What? You can tweet back. There's nothing wrong with that. But if those emotions were so strong that you were so full of anger and hate, what were those 3 words? I don't like making assumptions. I had a lot of 3-word replies that came to mind. But what does that mean? In 3 words, you're not articulating anything. In 3 words, you're not representing an idea. Go fuck yourself. Elon, fuck you. I hate you. Go kill yourself. In Minecraft. You know, those are the first things that an individual reading this might come to. But again, I don't like making assumptions. But sandwich with pineapple. That is I'm stealing that. This is proof. This is proof I'm going to steal that and I'm going to tell that to somebody. Sandwich with pineapple. That is hate speech. That is a war crime. And I am going to do that later because, that would make my sandwich soggy though. That goes against my dry sandwich ethos. I think those assumptions are very correct. I don't like making assumptions. And if you choose to think that those are correct because you feel the same way, then obviously that's you. You represent yourself. I represent myself. I hate making assumptions, man. I am way too old to be dealing with that shit. In Minecraft, does it work in court? Look, man. Yeah, he's acting like he took some holy high road. He did. But this statement is at least somewhat self-aware. But Elon stating an opinion about DEI initiatives is not feeding hatred. He is, at the end of the day, a high-level business individual who makes a lot of money, who oversees a lot of people. He is well aware of the decisions that need to be made in order to get specific tax breaks. In fact, he is uniquely poised to speak on those things in such a manner that would really blow all this shit out of the water. If Elon Musk came out tomorrow and said, hey, so this is actually how it works, he could post then every single thing around it to back it up, and it wouldn't affect him because he's at the highest level of his business, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's at like the highest level of existing, but you guys get what I mean with that. So pineapple with Black Forest ham. You're making me hungry, and I always get hungry as soon as I start stream, even though I've eaten a full meal. So this is now going to be a thing too. But yeah. So Musk speaking about DEI is not spreading hate. He's just part of the conversation. A lot of people, for whatever reason, think that it's instantly hate because that's what they go to. That is how they exist. That is how they see the world. In the same manner, that, I choose not to make assumptions anymore. That's how I see the world. I would rather people just be direct. It's the same thing here. It's the projection. It's the feeding hatred. Well, why do you think it's hatred? And then that individual, typically these type, they exist. You can actually view it in the way that they act, and you can see it in all the SBI people and anybody defending them, how hateful they are. But then they're always calling other people hateful. Like, no, I don't hate you. I don't agree with you, but I don't hate you. That's tiring. That's lame. It's reductive and doesn't go anywhere. So this article, though, talks about Yasuke as an enigmatic historical figure who lived in Japan. Gives us a little bit of the background. Elder God Elon. Right? We've got a super mysterious historical character from which not much is known about, and for us, we wanted NAC. You can't go on and say that he's an enigmatic historical figure and then say we've got a super mysterious historical figure from which not much is known about. How are you going to call an individual enigmatic? How are you going to try to base a personality off of somebody where there's very little written? It's not that you can't do it, you can, but their presentation of it and the reasoning why and their responses to all of this is just, If you don't agree with me that Squirtle is the best starter Pokemon, it's hate. Oh boy. I'm sorry that you... Look, man, there's a reason why Charizard was Leon's ace and not Blastoise. Get out of here. Yeah, he's unknown. And like, there's been plenty of media that has depicted Yasuke. And it's fine if you want to tell that story. Obviously, it's not off limits, but I just don't understand how they arrived at that being where they should go when there's thousands of years of history in Japan that has never once been displayed in media, in other books, in other works of semi-fiction, non-fiction, whatever. There's literally thousands of years, so many stories to be told, but we're going to hear a story that we've probably heard before based off of the limited information. That just doesn't sound like a good award-winning concept to me. But to write about something else might have required a little bit more creativity. I don't know. So I just don't think that there's anything that they can do that will be truly different for Yasuke than what we've already seen. Some couch their criticism and concern about the historical accuracy, despite Yasuke being a real person. Series blah blah. See, and then they do this stuff. Others were more overt and open. It's not racist. Which is so weird. It is not racist when the game series features so many different ethnicities and races, and the male and the female protagonist are based off of the location of which they're set in. It's not racist. It is pointing out that in this current day and age, based off of DEI initiatives, based off of the behavioral patterns of individuals who work at the studio, that maybe this wasn't genuine. If this game was made 10 years ago or 15 years ago, no one would bat an eye. I don't think. I think people would still question it and be like, why aren't we telling a full story about a Japanese man and woman during a Japanese setting? You know, I think my criticism would still be the same. Like, out of all of the history of Japan, why are we choosing something where we've already heard these stories? You know, in today's current age, based off of the behavioral patterns, that's why people are calling it out. They're saying that it's not coming from a genuine place. Not everybody is articulating it as well. And again, this comes down to assumptions, possibly. There are some people. Now the people who are actually being racist, who are like, black man bad, those people do not matter. Those people, just like the extremes on the other side who say, you know, like, oh, heterosexual couples need to die. None of those people fucking matter, right? Nobody gives a fuck about a racist individual, like a genuinely racist individual. Really? All right? We're talking about most of the complaints coming from a place of, hey, there's a pattern of behavior at the individuals who work at your studio. There's no fucking way that this is coming from a genuine place. So that's why that's important. And that nuance is often lost, and journalists like to feign ignorance and not entertain nuance, because then their blog posts would have to be long and nobody wants to put in actual work anymore. But there's a reason why I write my posts as long as I do, because I try to be as specific as possible. I believe specificity and nuance are very important, because seldom is anything in life black or white, left or right, blah, blah, blah. Right? So that's what we've got here. Yasuke is very, very grounded in the history of the franchise and how we make our choices. So naturally, the producer refutes Musk's claim that Ubisoft is adhering to a policy or quota by telling a story about a black historical figure. I think these lines speak for themselves. What Elon is saying, what Elon says is not the game that we're building. People have to play the game for themselves, and that is fair. I do encourage and hope that, I genuinely do hope that the people who buy the game, who are excited for the game, I genuinely hope that they have fun with it. Even if I would prefer that nobody buy an Ubisoft game, because fuck Ubisoft, not the game itself, but fuck Ubisoft itself, fuck their financial practices. They're terrible to their customers, but gamers love their abusive relationships with these companies. I would prefer that. At the end of the day, I still want people that if they're buying something, I want them to be happy with what they're spending their money on. So I do agree that people have to play the game for themselves. And if within the first 11 minutes and 47 seconds, oddly specific, they are not convinced of what we're doing, we can have a discussion. I would like that discussion. I want that discussion right now. Give me the first 11, give me the first hour of the game. I will dedicate not just 11 minutes and 47 seconds to it. I want to see the first hour of the game. But I want that discussion. I would love to ask questions, because there are things that I have seen that are inexcusable in today's day and age without a little bit of explanation. All right? An individual, I think Michael's his name on Twitter. I did retweet him. He pointed out, hey, the growing season. How'd you fuck up this little detail here? I think when you, in 2024, a detail like that should not be excused, especially for a big budget studio. Yeah, also, hi everybody who's come in. I'm sorry if I'm rambling and just going on and on and on, and maybe my points don't always connect very well. This is episode 1 of the HR Basement. I am your certified HR female who is walking you through today's complaints. And, oh, hello! I heard a pod. Come here. This is our emotional support bear. His name is Bear. He's a wolf. And if anybody is feeling particularly triggered, or if you need to calm down because your emotions are so heightened, we'll give him some pats. We'll give him some love and you'll feel better. No, you didn't just see a spider go under my chair. Look, I keep looking up and around. Some people probably think I'm skitsy because I keep fucking looking around. It's because I am actively looking for bugs. But yes, it's been good. Well, excellent. I'm glad that you enjoy me rambling and monologuing. But yeah, anyway, so back to the Assassin's Creed game. I hope that discussion can happen because I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of questions. I have questions about the seasons. If in 2024 you're missing details like that, what other details are you allowing to be overlooked? People have complained about the specific gate designs, and some Japanese individuals said, "Hey, these are wrong for that time period." I don't know. I'm not a historian. I'm not a Japanese historian. But if that is a complaint that somebody has, and if that is something that is actually wrong, if things are not designed properly, again, what else has been excused, you know? Kirsha is an incredible individual, and I have come to truly appreciate everything about her. Fucking love her, man. Fucking love her. Beautiful person. Epic My Kids representation here with spiders. What? Why is that a thing? Does he talk about spiders or something? But yeah, okay, so that is that. I hope he actually sticks around with this. Probably won't, but again, that's an assumption that shouldn't be made. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But I'm pretty burned out when it comes to Ubisoft's open world design. That said, the Sengoku period is a fascinating time in Japanese history. So I'm pretty interested to see how... Okay, so I think that this comes from the actual writer. So Fraser is the UK online editor and has actually met the internet in person. He met the chicks who did Two Girls, One Cup? What? Okay. With over a decade of experience, he's been around the block a few times, serving as a freelancer, news editor, and prolific reviewer. Strategy games have been a 30-year-long obsession, from tiny RTS to sprawling political sims. He never turned down a chance to read about Total War, Crusader Kings, blah, blah, blah. You know, just kind of like an average dude. Kind of jealous if he met Two Girls, One Cup in person. That's fascinating. But... let's jump into something else now. So this was another interesting post that came out. I wonder how they're doing today. I wonder too. I hope they're good. I hope that they're still sanitizing their space. I don't know. That might be my next deep dive. I don't know. But so Activision, again, Grumps put out another great post. There was a leak from the Activision Blizzard gone too far and infested with DEI. Recently circulated a 3-year plan for even more woke games. Again, I personally hate using that word, but I understand what it means to a lot of people. It's too vague for me to personally use in my own language. So the things that I try to point out are obviously very specific, and then back it up with, behavioral analysis from individuals to show that these things are not necessarily genuine. So there was a leak, and they put out this big, huge post thing, these slides that talk about their force for inclusion, which kind of comes down to a lot of, I don't want to use the word stereotypes, but really just thoughtless inclusion. Like when you think of Mexicans, you think of tacos. Okay, well, there's a lot more there that you could think about, but sure, I guess, you did the bare minimum. When you think about Black representation, you think about, gotta have the Killmonger hair and some sort of hip-hop reference with Nicki Minaj. Okay, well, you could do that, but there's also a lot of other ways that you can represent Black culture. You could also go down the road of not necessarily picking an individual who has millions and millions of followers who totally wouldn't just, whose target audience you totally don't want to tap into, right? 200, yeah, you wonder why video games cost so much. It's because they're spending an insane amount of money to get Snoop Dogg and Nicki Minaj's likeness in their game. Now, celebrity celebrity cameos are a really interesting thing. Again, 10, 15, 20 years ago would have been the hypest shit. It would have been so cool because you'd have the illusion that the individual might actually be interested in it. Now, we know Snoop Dogg is kind of interested in games, but it's kind of like not his personality, right? As for Nicki Minaj, I have absolutely no idea if she has ever talked about games, but like when I think of Nicki Minaj, I don't think video games. You know, I think about her pink hair and Starships or Spaceships. Yeah, Starships was the song, you know, and things like that. I think about swimming pools and a life of luxury. I don't necessarily think, oh yeah, she totally plays Call of Duty and has a kick-ass KD. I am streaming. We're live right now. When I think of people, not their colors or nationality. Call me selfish, but I tend to think about how I treat people depending on my relationship with them, either private or professional. Yeah, exactly. You know, this is another little tangent, but when I was younger, I thought the world would move away from generalizations. I was considered a very strange individual because I was a nerd. I was very weird because I liked anime. And so that is a generalization. Anybody can like anime, and that doesn't make them weird. So I genuinely thought that the future was going to be creative freedom, open and acceptance for all, and nobody would really give a shit about anything else. You know, nobody needed to care that so when I moved, this is so minute compared to what's happening. But so I moved from Texas to West Virginia. I had an accent. I had that southern accent, you know, this is a little bit more exaggerated from what I had, but you know, it was like this. I talk very different from other people. And so I was made fun of for that. I was made fun of for having a different accent. And because of that, I was targeted from being like, you know, from the South. And so I thought that the future would be, oh, nobody's going to like make fun of you for your accent in a way. You know, nobody's going to generalize you as being part of something and then make assumptions about you. I thought that kind of thing was going to go away. It's only gotten worse. Oh no, Country Roads. I hate that song so much. It follows me everywhere. And if that's my Craig, you're an asshole. If you're a different Craig, it's very close to home. Oh, man. You're in Dallas. Fuck yeah, man. Fuck Dallas, by the way. I grew up in Houston. Fuck Dallas. This went somewhere completely different. It means fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah and fuck you. But yeah. So the obsessing over this the skin tone thing is just, it's... You know... Also, why are they also insinuating that Nicki Minaj represents Black culture? Like, why is that a selling point for this? I think that there's a lot more to it that they could have explored, where they could have had, you know, not just in hip hop, but maybe, and call me fucking crazy, you know, somebody from like the theater world. Black people in theater is a thing. I think that might have actually been kind of cool, but that also doesn't fit the demographic. So I don't know. It's odd. This is the lady from G&G. Yes, they keep having me back, and I don't know why. They're all so sweet and wonderful, and then here I am, this gross little troll who just is overly loud and passionate about Pokemon. But yeah. So they've got their little reach thing, our next generation on talent. And I think that, you know, thinking about the next generation on talent is super important. I think companies who do choose to put back into education is really cool. But when they make specific things like this line, women in gaming industry, fuck off. Oh, my takes on side scrollers. Yes, they keep having me back too. And I'm like, why? I'm going to end up ruining it. And I'm pretty sure the audience is going to be like, that's a weird one. One of these days. But yeah, so this line, women in gaming. I hate it. I hate this line from the first time that it was uttered at me when I went to TwitchCon. I sat down with an individual from Amazon. She was looking for talent, and she asked me, I'm really interested in your experiences streaming Call of Duty. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I have a lot of fun with it. And she's like, no, your experiences as a woman in the gaming industry. I'm like, well, I don't think my experience is actually different from anybody else's experience. No, that's not true. They'll target you because you're a woman. Guys will get targeted for their voice. Guys will get targeted for a receding hairline. Guys will get targeted for their facial hair. Guys will get targeted because they're fat. Guys will get targeted because they're skinny. I don't understand what the difference. But you're a woman. You're a woman in the gaming industry. So it's hard. It's hard for you. It's not been hard at all. It's not hard. I don't know what you're looking for. Amazon Game Studios sounded kind of cool to maybe get my foot in the door. I'd like to do a little shoutcasting here. But having that conversation put me off, and I don't want to work with people like that. Show me one woman who gets anywhere near as much hate as DSP. Man. Beardo skinny legs. Hey. We're not going to talk about Beardo's legs in this stream where Beardo is not here to say, what are we doing, all right? It's The 199, we're all sort of weird. Yeah, that's true. We are all a little bit weird. I watch chat a lot. I watch chat whenever I'm not talking, and I love chat, man. I love watching people say things. It's so fun. I don't know. Chat's like the best part for me personally. I love watching you guys, even if I don't respond to everything. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, these conversations really put me off, and it wasn't the only time that I had them. I had the opportunity to go into my dream job, and I turned it down 3 different times for 3 different reasons. First time, I was fucking shaking shit scared out of my mind. I'm like, I'm not showing these people my fucking artwork right now. No way. So I thought maybe I'd go in as a game tester, and then I just never applied because second and third time, they brought up the fact that I was a woman. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all because my dad raised me right. He said, you're gonna go get your biology degree, and you are going to prove that you can do hard things, and it's gonna be all about your skill. People are gonna want to hire you for your skill, for your brain. I said, all right, Dad, I'm gonna do you proud. Well, nobody wanted to hire me for anything other than the fact that I was a fucking woman. So I worked for myself. Now, I would much rather submit my resume. Nobody knows what I am, and I would much rather, it feels much better to be turned down because I suck ass than get given a job because I'm a woman and I would make their percentage look good. Don't want that. It's just not me. It's just not me. Oh, little Miss Anonymous. I was looking for something to watch. Well. You found something. You can find me rambling. I'll start talking about one thing and then link it to something else. But anyway, so that was a big, huge tangent. I hate this line. Women in gaming. It's just a dumb... The next generation, inspiring the next generation of girls in the gaming industry. You mean bullying the next generation of girls in the gaming industry. Because if the girls in the gaming industry don't align with your line of thinking, you go out and bully them. Not Activision, but like the employees, and the people all around it and the gaming journalists. If you don't think the way they do, you don't, then you lose your victim status according to them, and you are fair game. So don't like that. Holy shit, that's creepy. Why we track representation and inclusion data? I'll tell you why. For tax purposes. To create a global workforce and foster a sense of belonging. So he's just a wild thing. Wild thing. The sense of belonging comes down to the very, very cold reality of I belong to this company to make the CEO's money so that way I can hopefully get high enough in the food chain to one day do my own thing. Your sense of belonging, if you have to fabricate that, you're creating a kind of dystopian environment. You're not going to belong because you have a DEI initiative in ERG where occasionally a speaker comes in and says, life is hard, man, but that's okay because we're going to focus on deep breathing. You know what would really help out those people? If you fired all the DEI stuff, if you got rid of the ERGs outside of the basic useful ones that like teach you how to do your fucking taxes, you could put that money in the employee's pocket. Because today, shit's a little rough financially. And I'm absolutely certain that if you polled individuals working at a company, they would much rather have an extra 50 to $100 per paycheck than have this extra shit. And this applies literally to everything. I don't understand this. These big companies, they start spending all this money, and then they got to go get investors, and then they got to go get tax breaks, and they got to do all this shit to offset all the fucking costs of the company. But then the company's also throwing money at other shit. And it's like, what are you doing? Just stop it. Just focus on your employees who are making the product. It's not hard. It's really not. But yeah, representation, inclusion, data tracking, and transparency allows us to be intentional about where we focus our efforts while holding ourselves accountable for reflecting the global gaming community we serve. If you were to reflect the global gaming community and were trying to match gaming demographic percentages, you would only have 30 some odd % of white men working, and the rest would be Chinese men. That's the reality of the situation. You want to talk about the global data? Here's the global data. But they're not ready for that conversation, and they're not holding themselves accountable for anything. Because what you should do, instead of worrying about representation, because your consumers are not developers, you should be hiring literally the best possible individual to create the best possible product, so that way your customers will be happy and keep spending their hard-earned money on your fucking product, so that way you keep making money, and then you don't have to worry about investors, and then you can fund yourself and keep giving yourselves bonuses, because we all know they're not going to get rid of those. Based off of that, you'd make so much more money if you just did the thing that you were initially fucking good at. They're global as America, EU, and it's not Japan anymore. No. It is not. I'm also shocked, by the way. I just felt a cough coming on. I haven't coughed as much during this, so I'm really proud of myself. Anyway, but yeah, no, it's not Japan. Japan is now a problem, or it has been a problem for a while, apparently. Talking all logically. Oh dear. I know. Research demonstrates belonging is a driver of retention and engagement in any organization. Well, see, you know what's really interesting about that? If belonging was a driver of retention, what the fuck happened to the talent who initially made the things that made you successful? Where did they go? Why aren't they retained? Oh, they went off to do their own thing and start their own things because they became successful. So then you had to find a new workforce who didn't know what they were doing, who you paid less, and then you gaslit them into thinking, oh, so long as they belong, they'll stick around, and then we can keep paying the minimum fucking wage. But they don't know what they're doing, so we gotta hire additional people. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. We started measuring every employee's sense of belonging through an inclusion score, a quantitative measure of the extent to which employees feel welcomed, valued, and included within the organization. Do you know what this says to me? We sat down and we asked you a set of questions in which the employee then lied because they want to make sure they keep their fucking job. Oh yeah, you know, I'm sure I feel really included. I'm really glad that in the break room that there's the poster that says love is love. That makes me feel valued. If that makes you feel fucking valued, my heart hurts for you. If a fucking poster, if a fucking donation to something that doesn't affect you makes you feel valued, it's insane to me. You know what would make me feel valued? Working on a team where I submit something, they're happy with it, it goes to product, it goes to market, and then the customer's happy. I'd feel fucking valued from that. I'd feel valued from having a top-selling game where people are like, man, that story is something I can keep coming back to. That would make me feel valued. You know what would make me feel welcomed? If they just said, hey, here's your desk. Can't wait to work with you. This is going to be great. Not some fucking pronouns on somebody's door name. Not some fucking taco truck if I was a Mexican. Actually, no, I'll make it personal. If they had a whole fucking desk set up for potatoes to represent the Polish, it's not going to make me feel welcomed. I'm going to look at them and go, what the fuck is this? Oh, it's our Polish corner. All right, yeah, I love potatoes, and that's great. I can have a free baked potato every day, but what's this got to do with my work? Well, we need you to know that we value you as a Polish person. Do you value me as an employee? Well, yeah, that's why we put out the Polish potato corner. Okay, can I get some feedback on my project? Is this going to require meetings? Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. We also do have a Polish meeting. Every 3 months, we make sure everybody knows that a Polish person works at the office, that they can say jak się masz to you. That's great. I'm Polish, but I don't actually use that. No, it's fine. Jak się masz, na zdrowie, all that good stuff. We're going to have the Polish meeting every 3 months. We're going to remind people a Polish person works here. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that you feel welcomed. And you're going to be great. Okay. I'd like to just do my work at my desk, but thanks. Trying to bribe me, right? Oh, man. There's something about happy customers. That is true. We can't have a happy customer. Ugh. I don't actually speak Polish, so I have no idea what you've just said. I know a few words, but my mother never taught it to me. So, but I am half Polish. So if for whatever reason that ever came up, and this is all a hypothetical. But yeah, so these are things that I have trouble empathizing with. And I just can't understand how an individual needs that. They need that every 3-4 months or once a year, some sort of inclusivity training. Like, why? Just do your fucking job. The power of, oh no, we don't use that language here. See, and that's cool. I'm fucking jealous, man. Like you got that full Polish, you speak the language, you know what's up. That's cool. It's wonderful. That's sexy. Man, my mom was like, I'm just going to teach her English. It's fine. And now I can't communicate with most of my family, but that's fine. Freshly baked anime at your desk every morning. All right. See, now okay, listen, here's how you really bribe your workforce. If once a month I came into the workplace and then on the desk, there was some nice doujin from some of my favorite artists that just came out that I haven't read yet. Oh man, dude, I don't care if you're paying me fucking minimum wage at that point. I'm staying. Now I see how they get you. Oh shit, you backed me into a corner and now I understand. Damn it. Fuck, we just justified all of this for the weak-willed. Fuck. Shit. Fuck. Whatever. Well, we tried. Argument out the window. We just found out how to keep Savvy employed for fucking minimum wage. Just give her dousing. Oh man, I'm kidding. That's all a joke. I can't wait for that to be clipped out of context. But yeah, for those who don't know, I love the naughty arts. There's a reason why I actively and constantly talk about censorship. I believe censorship when it comes to artwork, whether that's storytelling, video games, just pictures, photography a little bit in there because that is technically art. But I try to keep everything like really, really fictional whenever I'm saying that stuff like that. Literally, creativity, freedom for all when it comes to storytelling and artwork and stuff like that. So that's all very important to me. And why is that? Well, because I'm a dirty little fucking degen and I want to be able to read my dirty little fucking degen stories that come from Japan because they're so fucking sexy. All right? I don't care what it else. Now, as chat has so wonderfully said, you should work for. I need to start up my own gaming consultant company. You want to know how to make your employees happy? Give them some fucking thousands. Give them a potato corner. There you go. But yeah, you're German and Italian, so companies want me to embrace my heritage. Oh no, I'd be bald with a mustache. Bro. I mean, I think German and Italian is a sexy mix. So, you know, you got, let's see, so you'd have to have a schnitzel and a pasta corner. That's what you would get. But yeah, so our next slide is chat has pointed out what the hell is something else. It's a really great fucking question, and I wanna zoom in on these tiny little words here. But yeah, so we have men who make up 79% of their little circle here of their 2023 work demographic. Now, if they really wanted to, again, match and represent the global gaming community, this Asian here for 17%, this is actually disgustingly low. This does not represent the global population of the gaming community, and it is an egregious war crime against DEI and representation in general, because obviously you're trying to reflect what the world looks like, right? And the world is not America, thank God. Unfortunately, America seems to think the world is America, so that's why we have a lot of these fucking problems. But this needs to be like 69%. All right, I think it's supposed to be like 67%. So we need to flip some numbers here. They're doing a really poor job representing the global population. Now they've got the two or more races, or 7% here. If somebody doesn't know what they are, well, fuck you. They just put you in the white category. You have too much heritage in your blood for one quarter. Yeah, see, exactly, too. That's the other thing. Most people are mutts. Most people don't necessarily identify anymore as just one thing, because they've kind of, they've probably migrated. So I'm half Polish and half Canadian, but I was born in America. So if I go to a company and I say, well, I'm Polish and Canadian, but I'm American, what are they going to do? Well, they're not going to classify me as a fucking American. They're going to say, oh, that must mean that you take pride in your Canadian ways. We speak Canadian here. We're very friendly towards the Canadians. Yeah, I bet you're fucking friendly to the DEI country. It's wild. It's crazy. It's dumb. Oh my God, could you imagine a Canadian corner? That'd be great. You're German, British, American. Yeah, like it's fucking you. When you immigrate too, like you become the thing. Like I am an American, right? My mother, she considers herself American even though she's Polish. My father, Canadian, right? He considers himself American. Like that's what it is. That's the only label that he needs. That's the only label that really anybody needs. Yeah, you can be of a different race, and if you're like freshly migrated, but like if you're born in a country, for instance, like. Okay, cool. Like, hey, I get it. Like, your family's something else and it's super cool and I want to learn about it. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm an American, you're an American. We're Americans. Like, that's your fucking label. Like, congratulations. Yay, we're all people. You're a 5th or 6th generation immigrant. That's cool. Canadian is like American, so you're like half Polish and half what? So if we break down my Canadian side even further, then I'm Irish Italian. So it just keeps going, and then if we keep going further back from that, I'm actually fucking Russian and Neanderthal. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird to me. It's all weird. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know what this something else is. Let's see. Can I open this? Let me see what this looks like if it's bigger. Because I'd like to read the little... Oh, okay. That gave me a 404. Why did that happen? I'm scared to click on it. Hang on. Oh, let me see if I can zoom in. What happens when I click on things? I don't want it to muck anything up. Here we go. Can I zoom in? Okay. So I can sort of zoom in on it. So Activision data source, Activision Blizzard King People Analytics team. The data included in this presentation represent our best estimate based on the data included in our systems. Data was pulled on 1/12/2024. Our gender data is global, where permissible by local law, and represents employees' self-selection. So that's important. Between fields of woman, man, non-binary, something else. And prefer not to say. So people also preferred not to say, which, so I do that a lot. Like when I'm making a new Google email, I prefer not to say. You don't need my data. Fuck you. In calculating gender representation, we consider the percent of known employees, i.e. those who have not selected that preferred not to say or have identified in some way. Gender representation data reflects regular, non-temporary employees within the employee contract type regular. We that were employed as of 12/31/2023. Our race and ethnicity data is limited to the United States. Oh, really? That's interesting. That was sarcasm. So, oh look, I've got a DM. Oh. Somebody is sending me an interesting read for later. Yes. Asylum Barbie is live. Yes, I am. I'm crazy. Actually, no, my new favorite insult is somebody called me an HR female. So I want to make a hoodie that says certified HR female. And that's actually why we're called the HR basement. So we're going to have all sorts of HR jokes and things like that. So congratulations. You are all employees. All my viewers are employees. But yeah, anyway. So I just thought that it was interesting to kind of read that and just kind of see, you know, how they're pulling that data. And it is obviously part of what. So for the non-binary image, so these are all icons that typically would go on a bathroom, except for that something else. Why did they choose these? Like, I know, so somebody's hired to obviously make this stuff, but why did they choose the binary bathroom? Where men and women can both go into the same bathroom, right? Like, this just reminds me of the bathroom. But I don't know what the happy 3-person thing is. Like, why does that person get to be happy and shouty, but the other ones don't? That's completely, that's like an ADD assessment. That had nothing to do with actually the rest of this. Just in case anybody thinks that that's a genuine complaint. I'm just wondering from a design standpoint, like, how else were you going to represent these? But why did they pick those? I think that's funny. You should pull up the Capcom survey. So it's only eye-opening if you're a fucking DEI supporter. The Capcom thing. Most gamers care about story and beautiful characters, and other news water is wet. But yeah, inclusive candidate experience, candidate recruitment preparation, candidate sourcing. So we're going to look at this a little bit. Utilize advanced technical tools to review job descriptions with recommended inclusive language changes that yield a more diverse candidate pool. So I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know about the rest of the people, but whenever I go through a job listing, if it has excessive language or excessive amounts of drop downs that make me fucking pick whether I'm white or something else, whether it asks me what my damn pronouns are and my gender identification and all that shit, I back the fuck up, right? This just tells me we added more bullshit language to attract a specific demographic that we know is just not the average individual. Like, a job listing should just state, in the year of 2024, on this glorious flat earth of which we live on, underneath the witness of our programmers and under the guidance of the projection of the moon. Literally, all you got to do is say, hey, we've got an opening. Here's what you're going to do. Here's your pay. Apply here with your resume. If you genuinely believe that adding in all this other shit, oh, we're a person first and we encourage women and non-binaries and disabled people to apply, all that says to me is it's corporate bullshit speak so that way you can get some fucking tax break. That's all it says. It is under the assumption of functioning in the year of 2024 in America, in Canada, and in most first world places. Most, obviously not all. There are some places that are a little wonky. It is you operate under the assumption that everything's kosher, that everything's fine, that everything like nobody's gonna like. You know, Activision is not going to say, we don't hire black people. We don't hire gay people. You know that that's not going to happen. You do not need additional language to tell you that that's not going to happen. It's the exact same thing on Twitter when somebody says, I hate bigots, tee-hee. Ooh, I'm so brave. I don't like racism. No fucking shit. Neither does the rest of the fucking population. Congratulations. Oh, you did that for 20,000 fucking likes? Interesting, because nothing you've ever said before has gotten so many views and so much support. It's almost like certain things kind of look for that kind of tweet and then kind of boost it up to make it look like something cool has happened, when really nothing of value has happened. Congratulations, you tweeted something where you don't like something that most people don't like. You've done nothing to advance shit. Wow, you're really fighting that racism that's happening over in fucking Africa where white farmers are getting killed. Oh, you're really fighting the racism where certain people are getting tortured and brutalized in China. You did so fucking much. Racism bad. Where's my trophy? That would be so cool. I want a little trophy wall behind me. Oh my God. Okay. If I manage to make it to a year of doing a regular fucking stream schedule, I'm getting myself a trophy. First place in saying racism bad. I want a certificate that says certified female HR. Maybe that can be a little special. I'll mail medals to people randomly and say, hey, participation trophy for hating bigots. I don't fucking know. But yeah. So anyway, wow, it took us like 10 minutes to just get over that. I'm sorry. I just have commentary because all of this is just goofy to me. Training and resources for hiring managers. Offer training, e.g. inclusive hiring workshops and resources to help managers reduce bias and build more diverse candidate slates. Now, again, what this tells me is that they're spending excessive money to teach people who already know how to read a resume so that way they can find not necessarily the best for the job, but to reduce bias to get somebody else for the job. So the only bias that there would be is who would be the best person for the job. Hear me out. Resumes should all be on white pieces of paper, written with basic language. You should actually remove the fucking name. You should remove the age and only look at the qualifications. You should look at their education if they have any, and if they don't have an education, that's fine, because an education and a degree does not necessarily mean anything. But you should look at their experience, and if they don't have any experience, well, then obviously you have to consider that for the job position of which you're trying to fill. But, you know, sometimes you take a gamble on somebody if they've got some fancy words. And then you look at their portfolio, right? You look at their history. That's it. That's all. That's all that needs to be done. And if it just so happens that if you're hiring for a coding position, and you happen to just fill that up with all men because the language on their resume suggested that they were the best for the job, that's not a problem. You're not actually keeping women down. It also speaks to the fact that men and women are different, and naturally the demographic of those individuals, you know, there's less women who code. It doesn't mean there's no women in coding. It doesn't mean women who code are bad. It just means that for this job position, the best possible person for the job just happened to be a dude or a group of dudes, and that's not a problem. It's fucking fine. It's fine. Why is it that women mostly fill up the fucking community manager role? Where's the equality language there? Why aren't we having, hey, we need more straight men as community managers? It's all gay dudes and women. It's not, but you know what I mean. It's almost like demographics go and naturally filter into certain things. You know, exactly. The women who are good at the job will get the job anyway. We've had women who are doing incredible things all this time. And now, especially in the year of 2024, all of the barriers are broken. They're gone. It's done. 2000 happened. We're good. Everything's good. We're fucking fine. You do not need to use additional language to make sure that women know they can do a thing. Women know the thing can happen. They just don't want to necessarily go into it. But the women who do, guess what? The ones who are good at their jobs get the jobs. It's not hard. Collaboration, increased recruitment, presence at events and organizations, in addition to internships. Free labor and apprenticeships, more free labor to broaden the population of people who have access to the opportunities at Activision over time. Example, lesbians who tech. Latinx is a... It's interesting what they decided to list there. I need to move on. I think that says everything. They're clearly not just targeting the best. They're targeting people who rely on their labels to get a job. If you rely on a label to get a job, chances are you're probably not the best candidate. Again, I could have taken my dream job. I could have worked for the studio that I idolized once if I had just taken the position because I was a woman. I didn't deserve the job at the time. I was not talented enough in art. But they offered it to me and they said, we can get you in because you're a woman. And I said no. So if you need a label to get you a job, you suck ass. I don't know, man. It's just heartbreaking. Come to think of it, the job was probably to make the PowerPoint. The rest of the time, they just sit and collect the paycheck. Basically, there are some people who are perfectly content with being told to do nothing, which is wild to me. Wild. That would make me quit. Now, when I was younger, I would have said, "Oh man, getting paid to do nothing, that's sweet." But now that I'm older, I'm like, "Oh wow, that actually sounds like hell." So I don't know. Inclusive interviewing, training resources, guidance and training. Offer training, advanced interview training, and created interview preparation guides to support hiring managers in integrating DEI best practices throughout the process. Do you know what's really funny? BlackRock is actually about to have a bunch of lawsuits, and Larry Fink is getting in trouble for the misrepresentation of the effectiveness of DEI. So in the interview process, if somebody were to ask me what my fucking pronouns were, I'd ask them if they need glasses. "Oh, did you lose your glasses today?" I would genuinely be insulted. Genuinely. And you know what's crazy though? Somebody else would say, "Oh, you're being a bigot for that." They don't want to assume. Okay? I can respect that because I don't like to make assumptions either. However, if you look at me, if you listen to me, and you have to ask me what my fucking pronouns are, you've taken the concept of assumption and bastardized it. Ha! Who would have seen that coming, right? Oh boy, I can't wait to read this quote. "In gaming, the talent population can be limited depending on the role. Well, when the job listing for a fucking QA tester is 7 years experience in the industry, I suppose, yes, it might be a little limited. Our work in partnership with the DEI team is to be strategic partners to our studio, provide resources to educate and support our hiring managers, and attract diverse talent at the start of the process." So here's what's wild. If you acknowledge that it's probably limited for the role. What makes you think, though, diversity has anything to do with the limited candidate pool for the role? What does this mean in reference to what you first said? I don't know if there was additional sentences in there. I don't know if she just jumped from one point to the next because she panicked and she's not actually good at talking. I have no idea. You're late. It's okay. We've got nothing of importance being said. It's fine. I'm nobody. This is just the HR department and we're all filing complaints. Oh man, enjoy your groceries though, yay. But yeah, so this is just you have over 7 years QA experience. Fuck yeah, dude. You can apply then for that entry-level QA position at Activision. I don't actually know if they say 7 years, but I've seen some goofy stuff for like entry-level positions, so it's yeah. But yeah, so this is just, I don't understand the relationship between these two phrases because they technically contradict each other. If you had a limited candidate pool, you wouldn't give a fuck about diversity. In that limited candidate pool, you would literally be trying to make sure that you're giving the best possible salary to an individual to fill the role. And if they're saying that like, oh, nobody's really good for it, well, all right, keep looking. Have you made sandwiches? Yeah, everybody kind of choked on the dryness. Yeah. So here's more. DEI business integration, 3-year roadmap, inclusive people experience, inclusive candidate experience, inclusive game development, inclusive creative process, how we ensure the messaging, how we ensure the message. Imagery and marketing strategies for our games are culturally sensitive. Fuck cultural sensitivity. Call me a cunt and tell me to get in the kitchen. Make fun of my flat chest and board-like ass. Fuck it. Deliberate and authenticate when they are released to the public. When you try to make a product for everybody, then you make a product for no one. Duh. You came to fame for niche. The niche grew. And then you got hungry for more. And now you're fucking it all up. Games, just like everything in life, there will be a wall that you hit. You cannot sell your product to everyone. You can try to turn your product into a lifestyle brand. And then, you know, maybe you'll capture a couple more women. You get a couple more people in fashion just for the sake of whatever because you partnered with fucking Gucci. Although Gucci's now like the poor man's fucking brand. I don't fucking know. I don't keep up with that dumb shit. Right? But at the end of the day, the people buying your game, your core product, the demographic seldom changes. You're stuck with what you're stuck with, and it has nothing to do with was the product not inclusive enough. Just because you put something in a game doesn't necessarily mean you're going to attract suddenly this entire new community. They want the product to be good. And the people who were already playing it, who enjoy the thing that you put in there to try to attract new people, they're going to be the ones who use it. But you're not necessarily going to see this major bump in new people coming in, because the people who didn't come in before, they're not going to suddenly like a first-person shooter, for example, just because you've got rainbows on the fucking guns. If they don't like FPS, they're not going to play FPS just because it's in rainbows. It's not going to happen. All right? Now, if you were to add a farming sim concept to your fucking Call of Duty and you shot your plants with water guns, now you might attract a new demographic. Yeah, we may have lost our customers, but at least we're inclusive now. It's all that matters. Inclusive relationships, how we cultivate external relationships aligned to supporting the global talent creators and gamers of the future. What about your customers? Just fuck. That's all that matters to a company. All that matters is the customer to the maker of the product. That's it. You can try to say, yeah, we're super inclusive. Sugoi. And it's not going to do anything. Nobody fucking cares. Is the product good? Is the product fun? Does the product do the thing that the customer expects the product to do? If you hit those check boxes, it's all that fucking matters. You can sit there and scream till you're blue in the face. We've got X amount of this, this, and this. And the only people that you're going to have left going, yes, queen, are people who don't play your fucking game. They might comment on it. They might say, oh my God, Activision is so cool. But they don't play your fucking game. They don't care. It's social media where people are thinking that if they say they hate bigots, that it makes them look cool. No one cares. It's so weird. Just make the product. Inclusive suppliers, how we collaborate with local vendors who reflect the diversity of our community. Just pick good food. Just, like, I think that kind of says, where's the fucking taco truck? Work with these people because they're delicious. Promote them as being delicious. Don't promote them just because, okay, we needed to diversify our supply chain, so we made sure that we got a diverse supply chain. Just say it's delicious. Just say, hey, this is the best fucking thing we've got. This is literally the best we could find. That would sell them way better than saying, well, we decided to bring them in because they represent the Latinx community. First off, you're going to fucking piss everybody off with that language. Second, you know, by just say that they're the best. Say that they're delicious. Shut up and eat the inclusive taco, bigot. I won't. I want the taco to be delicious. I don't want the taco to be inclusive, right? Like that would be, this is literally saying, I have a Mexican friend without saying I have a Mexican friend, all right? I eat a lot of Mexican food, but when I go, like when I go and look for a place to eat with my husband, spoiler alert, reference to husband, now everybody's gonna leave. When I go and I look for something, I don't say, I haven't had a diverse meal in a while. I should probably look at a particular minority demographic to decide what I'm going to digest today. No, I say, what's fucking delicious? Oh, fuck, my favorite taco place. That's right, I haven't had this in a while. I don't think about, like, my fucking quotas. Like, god damn. Savvy Stream Saturday is now elite. Hell yeah. I can be your generic Mexican friend. God bless. Generic Mexican friend 1. Sell me a taco. Oh my god. I'm sorry. This has turned into actually me just ranting. I thought it was going to be more of a discussion, but now I'm just like, I don't know. It feels good. There's something really cathartic about this. It's different from when I type. It's obviously a little freeform and whatever. What is this? Cohort? What the fuck is this? I didn't even read all this. I don't know. Anyway, you can go look at these things, right? So inclusive people experience. Wait, what? We implemented inclusive and transparent ways to share information and celebrate each other. I don't want to be celebrated. I don't want somebody to say, hey, this is a blonde artist. Hey, this is a green-eyed artist. Hey, this is a woman art. I don't fucking care. All right, I guess let's read. Let's read what the white woman has to say. Experiencing tangible aspects of different cultures, music, food, and people is one of the best ways to learn. So brave and stunning. This requires working with brands and businesses who champion their culture and communities while inviting others along the way. There was a post a while ago about 2 white women who were in Japan. They were invited by Japanese women to wear kimonos on the street and walk around in them. And then they were dragged through Twitter by other white women saying that they were culturally appropriating it. The people who were dragging them were most commonly leftists with their identities in their bios. Let's see what Dior Brown has to say. We approach our communication and program creation with a deliberate focus, ensuring that our initiatives authentically reflect the diversity within our workforce. DEI are woven into the fabric of all our efforts, serving as the cornerstone of our planning process. Well, that explains why your products are fucking shit. Repetitive and fucking boring. I don't want to be a victim. I just want to tell cool stories. I want jiggle physics. I don't want my yaoi to be fucking washed by Westerners because something was offensive. I don't want my stuff import blocked because it has dubious consent. I just want tentacle hentai without a message. Like, yeah, you know, I watch hentai for the plot, but if the plot's a message trying to tell me that I'm a bigot, what's the point? I already get told I'm a bigot on Twitter. I don't need it in my hentai too. You know? Nobody's doing that, but actually, I don't know. I don't know if there's fucking... Your yaoi will be fully clothed because think of the children. No child should be on the fucking internet. Ugh, anyway. See, there's actual charities, though, that do useful things. Able Gamers is cool. I don't know if I want to read any more quotes. My head hurts. What the fuck is this? We invite everyone who works on games to amplify inclusive and diverse identity. Now this is very candid. What the fuck is this? Why is there a furry? Why is there an ugly Bruges? One example we're excited about is Cat Bat. You couldn't give it a cool name? Activision's first non-binary character, Cat Bat, made their debut in the multiplayer game Crash Team Rumble. An escaped prisoner of antagonist Dr. Cortex and a lover of rock and roll, Cat Bat is also the series' first character voiced by a gender-fluid actor who uses all pronouns. Why is its name Cat Bat? I appreciate they're implying that Dr. Cortex imprisoned and possibly experimented on this individual. But why? So when you post things like this, it stops being genuine. Like, again, nobody gave a shit 15 years ago if there were lesbians in a game, but now people act like it's stunning and brave. Activision's scope around operations means infusing DE&I in design, putting a lot of our effort and research. DE&I is literally a checklist. DEI is literally a checklist. Activision's scope around operations means infusing DEI in design, putting a lot of effort and resources, putting a lot of money into ensuring authenticity in our authenticity and infusing DEI in design are quite literally they are antithesis to each other. They are two complete. You cannot be authentic. You cannot be authentic and have checkboxes. You cannot do that. You quite literally cannot do that. If you have checkboxes you have to adhere to for design, that is not authentic. In our games, through the collaboration of artists, animators, and developers. Hey, it's HR department. From one HR department to another. Go fuck yourself. Call it dingbat. Honestly, okay, look, my dad used to call me a dingbat all the time. I would have loved that, all right? I would have absolutely loved that. If there's a character called Dingbat, that's adorable. That would have been great. And then they could be constantly dizzy like a Spinda because they constantly hit their head. I don't know, 20 years ago when Fear Effect 2 came out, hot lesbians were the main selling point, right? It's a bat that looks more like a cat than the usual amount of bats that already look like cats. It's also, well, we don't know what it is. Dingbat, it all makes sense now. Yes, exactly. All right. I can only handle so many quotes from these people. I like that. That's funny. Anyway, I don't want to scroll too far down just in case. But again, pattern of behavior, just to tie it all in. Here, I'm not going to read all this. I just want to show you guys. This is the EA Impact Report 2023. It's about roughly the same concept of that. But that was just a leak, whereas this uses a lot of the same language, and just to show that it's all over all these companies. So somebody puts together all these fucking slides, and then somebody else reads it and evaluates it and then uses that for investment purposes or whatever. Valuing diverse and healthy teams, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know what? There is one slide in here that I'd like to talk about because it's very funny. So I used to be an avid player of The Sims, but now that The Sims costs over $1,300 in total to own everything that they put out, Obviously no longer support that, but I stopped supporting it a while ago. And that's because if you try to play the game with all of the products that they release for the game, all of the expansion packs, all of the clothing, all of the stuff packs, whatever, if you try to play the game with everything that they're putting out for the game will fucking crash. You cannot actually do that. The game is inherently, at its core, fucking broken, right? But thank God we introduced content into The Sims 4 dedicated to the disability representation, such as medical wearables and accessories like hearing aids and glucose monitors. The Sims 4 also added transgender affirming content in the form of the mastectomy scars, but instead of doing it for breast cancer like people have been asking for since the fucking Sims 2, they did it for the transgender people. On top of that, they actually made it so that way you couldn't put the scars on, I think, a female. I don't know. There was a whole big backlash about that from people. Anyway, oh good, here we go. We have a Star Wars Jedi thing for Cal Kestis Return. We worked hard to ensure that as many players as possible could embrace the fantasy of being a Jedi Knight, which means nobody's gonna fucking play it. From difficulty options to accessibility-related controls, we designed the game to provide choice in how the game is experienced. We included subtitles and closed captions, all basic things that have been in games for a long time. Visual choices like HUD scaling, colorblind options, and camera shake adjustments. Again, all things that have fucking been around for a long time. This is not something that makes it interesting. What you could have just said is said, hey, these are how many people play our games right now. These are the games that we put out. This is the team and the talent that we have. Please give us money. That would have been so much better than all this other bullshit, because the only thing that makes a game company good is if the games that they make can sell. And if they can't fucking sell, get out. So show us how the games are actually doing. Anyway, so this is just to show a pattern of behavior that goes on where somebody makes ridiculous fucking long many slides of these things, and it's all the same. What is this? Oh, this is, I wanted to just share this. This is where the HR department thing came from. I guess this person did not like my joke about Blizzard, and they assumed that I was being serious for whatever reason. So he says all of that was a psyop done by Microsoft to lower the value of Blizzard and force a sale. The ultimate goal of the brand assassination was this DEI invasion. Dumb HR females such as yourself are the shock troopers. He hasn't responded, obviously. So I am a dumb HR female. I want to be the certified HR female. But yes, anyway, I just thought that was funny. Anyway, that is basically everything that I had to say today. It's essentially just a pattern of behavior that all kind of ties together. We have fear and intimidation tactics being pushed onto companies. The companies enact these things. People of that cult who believe in the fear and intimidation tactics get hired. They come in, they do a bunch of dumb shit. Productivity goes down, budgets go up, everything's fucked. Professor HR savvy, haha, exactly. But yeah, so whoa, excuse me, I finally coughed. Yeah, Professor HR savvy. My pronouns are ding and bet. Yeah, so unless chat has something else that they'd like to talk about. Oh my god, I was only gonna stream for an hour, but it's been 2, and we have literally 60 more viewers than I was expecting. So that's very cool. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for my first stream. I think that's amazing. That's crazy. I honestly don't feel like I deserve it for you guys just listening to me ramble. This was also my really lazy way of being able to make a couple YouTube videos, because I will end up clipping some short rambles from this, assuming any of them make any sense whatsoever. I feel like most of my tangents just kind of went off places. But yeah, how are we on this timeline? All this shit is fucking insane. I knew this was going to be a great show. Well, thank you. The word great should be reserved for truly great things. But I appreciate you. Do I follow the Hollywood money laundering conspiracy? So I am mildly aware with it. Honestly, everything today just feels like a money laundering thing when it comes to DEI and all that. These excessive budgets for Hollywood production really confuses me. And there's obviously something shady going on. You feel appreciated? Yay! But now play Elden Ring. Oh God. But yeah, so Hollywood's Hollywood's its own can of worms. What I focus on, the things that I work on, basically is publicly available information. I read a lot. I've taken a long break from it just because it's very soul-sucking, but I focus on the work that these sociologists put out. I focus on these ESG reports. I focus on, you know, the publicly available information and the things that people say, and then the patterns of their behaviors, how they speak at things, the language that they use, that kind of thing. I do a lot of that. I don't necessarily go and check on conspiracy theories or strictly rumors. I follow things that can be verified for sure, because I personally don't want to speculate. You know, I'll have conversations about them, but when it comes to actually like putting out my tweets and stuff like that, I make sure everything is verifiable, that other people can check it, that they can reproduce my work. And that just stems from my biology degree and the way that I was taught how to write. So I will never, in that sense, be a journalist, because I'm not necessarily trying to persuade or report. Like, I don't want to represent an anonymous source. I think that'll be the best way to separate it. Yeah. You love my schizo rants. Yay. Yeah. Like, watching things, like, I love, like, watching that content, but in terms of, like, actually reporting on it and things like that, not for me. Journalists sound so dirty nowadays. It really does. It really does. And they have no one to blame but themselves. You know, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild that people like Rebecca Valentine can come and espouse nonsense with no sources, with mistranslations, and then later try to claim, oh, you're going to trust an anonymous source? Well, you trusted anonymous sources. You made us try to trust them. Like, that's wild. That's insane. They do this. They do it to themselves. Yeah, exactly. I will never live up to today's standards of journalism. Unfortunately, unfortunately for them, nobody can buy me or control me. You know, I'm not interested in their cliques, in their groupthink. You know, I would actually rather be wrong. I would much rather be completely wrong and disproven in something. I don't like to be right. I don't like to go down these ESG rabbit holes and find language. Like, we incorporate DEI into everything to be authentic. I don't want to find things like that. I want to be told I'm crazy for thinking that DEI is ruining productivity. I genuinely, the best outcome in my mind is that DEI is not the problem. But then it would be like, okay, well, what is ruining it? Why are talentless individuals getting jobs? You know, like, I don't want it. Nobody wants to be right about this. It came to me in a dream. Exactly. I unfortunately work in an industry that will blackball the hell out of me if I spoke my mind the way I want to. And that too. People do get blacklisted. But the more people who come out and talk about things, and obviously I also do not necessarily want to sound like I'm telling people what to do. But the human species does have a pattern of behavior. And so when one person starts to speak out, other people feel emboldened to do so as well. And I think the more people who do speak out, the more pushback that there is, the more we can actually get to the truth. And we can figure out really where all this is coming from. Because obviously the general audience is not happy. They're not happy with American-made entertainment, the box office and sales, the game sales, all this stuff. It all, we need to figure out what the fucking problem is. We really do. And people have already figured out the problem. It's fucking DEI because we've already got proof of it. But if these other people saying, well, it's not DEI, if they genuinely want to say that, and that's fine, come up with a solution. Go ask your questions. Figure out what the problem was. Who got hired based off of what to do the bad writing? But they don't do that. They don't try to say, okay, you know, I'm going to go interview everybody who works at this company, and then I'm going to put together everything that they said based off of how do we figure out, the initial question for a journalist is what starts them down the path, right? It's technically the same thing in science. You start with a hypothesis. So if I say Suicide Squad killed the Justice League was ruined by poor writing, that is my hypothesis, right? So now I'm going to go interview people to figure out if that is the truth. Everything will be based around how do I prove that it was in fact the writing? And then you try to figure out, okay, so who were the writers? How did these people get the job? Why did they get the job? Why did people think that they were qualified to do this? What is their past work? Is there a history of behavior there? And then if somehow during that, you actually come to find out, oh, well, it wasn't the writing. It was the gameplay mechanics. Then you pursue that. But then you state at the end, hey, my initial hypothesis was wrong, but here's what actually caused it. Then, like that to me is journalism. I don't know. So, I don't know. My source came to me while I was meditating in a smoky crack den. Yes, the documents are huge. White pill. These policies are not organic and don't have long-term sustainability without injections of money and astroturfing. It's true. It is very true because they hire all new departments that need to be paid. They obviously don't want to dip into their fucking profits, so they go seek investors because nobody wants to spend their own money on something. This is just what you do. This is what business does. This is why business loans exist. And so you go and then you say, hey, I'm going to build up this department because this part of this government where I live will actually give me a tax break or let me have funding. Or maybe this group of investors values this type of thing, and so they'll give us money for this. It's to take rights away from workers and pay them less. I mean, yeah. I found the problem. It's you. Yeah. Oh, it's the consumer who's not buying it. Okay, well, why isn't the consumer buying it? This is gonna get a little existential, but it's kind of like you can say that the problem is one thing, but then it still leaves you with questions. It's kind of like my existential dread when it comes to death. You can tell me, oh, there's an afterlife. Okay, well, how do you know? You can't answer that. So, that's obviously an extreme comparison, but it's the same fucking concept of, well, you're the problem. Okay, how do you know? Well, you won't buy the thing. Okay, why? Well, because you're a bigot. Okay, what does that have to do with me not wanting to spend my money on something? What makes me a bigot? What part of the game, me not buying the game, makes me a bigot? Well, you just don't support it because diverse people made it. Okay, what? No, the game just sucks. Right? Yeah, it's just weird. If you want people to buy your shit, you got to make good shit. I don't know. It's just very weird. I don't even know if that analogy even made any sense, but it did to me because that's just how my brain works. It's just how it works. I go through and I just keep asking questions. I'm like, how do I get somewhere? How do I come to a conclusion? I need conclusions. I need answers. Damn it. That's just me. That's the scientist in me. I need to know. There is always a reason. There is always a cause. There is always logic. There's always something. So it's very, very, very weird. I don't know. But I guess I should stop dragging this on and free you people to the world. This was, of course, my very first stream back after not streaming for so long. I am still sick. I'm sure none of what I said made any sense whatsoever. You need things to make sense. That's what makes these people so aggravating. See, this is your problem. You're not allowed to ask questions. It is my problem. It is absolutely my problem. Yeah, it's not a problem that's easily solvable by people who don't want to have a conversation. China banned certain modern schools of thought a few years ago as a way of preempting groups like SBI from gaining traction internally. Yeah. Game journals are a disease. They are. They absolutely are. They got too big for their britches and for some reason thought that they were a pillar of control. And maybe for a while they were. The sandwich is always dry. See, and you know what though? People, you can ask me. You can ask, why, Savvy, do you make a dry sandwich? Well, because I don't like soggy sandwiches. Okay, why? Well, I don't like the way that it feels when it goes into my mouth and it's mushy. That's disgusting. See, we can get to the logical pipeline there. Even as silly as it is, there is still a pipeline to follow. There's no pipeline to follow with these game journalists. They, at one point, could make or break a game. And now they can't because that's wrong. Even if a game, let's just, I was gonna let you guys go. Even if a game is really good, even if the gameplay is really good, if they came out because they didn't like the studio or they didn't like that there wasn't enough diversity there, which they've complained about, by the way, they think that writing an article will prevent them from being successful. And at one point, it worked. But now it doesn't because more and more people are being made aware that they're not being genuine. And I think that speaks volumes. Most of the proponents of socialism end up being the biggest cronies, corporate shills, talk about principles, right? Enjoys it hard-going chat sandwiches. People, get your mind out of the gutter. Yes. So what does a soggy journalist taste like? Nothing good. Nothing good. The CCP won't allow companies like SBI to operate in China. The problem is that's great for Chinese developers, not so great for Western developers, where the CCP will push things like push the likes of SBI on them. Yeah, so, China is an interesting... Oh, Epic Mike, hi! I'm so glad somebody tagged you. Hello. Thank you so much for popping in. That's so sweet of you. That's very sweet. You didn't have to be here. Now you get to watch me make a fool of myself live on my own channel. Ooh. But yeah. What was I saying? Oh, right. So China obviously has its own problems. And it's interesting that, companies owned by Tencent, which is Chinese, will push things like ESG. But then Chinese companies themselves will not necessarily do that. And so you can kind of see that's a little interesting, isn't it? No foolishness. No. No, I have rambled. I have rambled for 2 hours and 17 minutes. But that's very sweet. It's very, very sweet. But yeah, so everybody say hi to Epic Mike. Oh my God. A famous person is here. But yeah, so it's all very strange to me. We really are at a strange crossroads. And it's not to say that, something like SBI can at the end of the day exist. But when they use fear tactics, when they use childish behavior, and when there is a pattern of behavior amongst all of the employees, you start to think maybe that shouldn't exist because it's full of assholes. It has nothing to do with the identities they try to hide behind. It's the fact that they present themselves as fear-mongering assholes. What adult calls somebody's former place of work to make a complaint? What individual speaks at multiple places using the same lines of fear and intimidation? What person of value would say something like abort all Jews? What the fuck, man? A famous non-Ben person is here. Jesus Christ. That's terrible. But yeah. So I don't know. I was going somewhere with that and then I got distracted. The Wukong situation is definitely an odd one. Game journalists think that they have power. They don't. Not anymore. They use extortion. Ain't that illegal? Oh, yeah. Those are victims I'm talking about? Holy fuck. I'm tired of it. You can't be a victim if you're the one using fear and intimidation. You can't be the victim if you're getting $7 million for fucking shit up. I don't understand how you can have consultants for a game and then the consultants don't consult on the thing that they claim to be the expert at. Spider-Man 2, how do you fuck up the flag? Spider-Man 2, how do you use fucking made-up words where you bastardize a gendered language? fucking all the studios connected to them that shut down. There is a pattern here. Causation and correlation. Of course, we have to have that discussion as well. But at the same time, that no longer gets to be an excuse. That is now out the window because there's a pattern of behavior here that is consistent, and it has been consistent for a while. Clip that? Clip what? So I'm going to say, how do you sideline Spider-Man in his own game? Yeah, exactly. It's very confusing. It's just, I don't know. China has flaws. China requires censorship. China wanted them to remove the Statue of Liberty from the Spider-Man movie. I think that's really lame and stupid and fucked up. I don't think a single product should be censored. I think that creative freedom should exist for all. And I think that a product should be allowed to go to market. And if a product does not sell in a country, and then naturally they just stop selling the physical thing of that product, you know, that's fine. That's just how the market works. But, you know, have the digital version of it available so that the people who do want it can buy it. And if nobody wants it from that place, that's fine too. But let the product exist as the product was intended. Stand by the whole of your creation. And if you censor your creation for a region that is lame and stupid, and it says that your empowerment ends where our product begins, and they don't care about the message, they don't care about what they put into it because they want a few extra dollars. If it was just a texture on a wall, then exactly, it's just a texture on a wall, and fuck the people who want that censored and removed. But at the same time, fuck the people who are willing to censor and remove it so that way they can get those extra dollars. You know, that's how I feel. That is an extreme view, apparently. I believe that when you mess with entertainment, the people of a country will start to revolt in peaceful ways, hopefully, and that they will make it known to their government that they no longer want censorship. So if let's just go ahead and do a hypothetical here. Let's say that there's a brand new Spider-Man game and the Middle East loves Spider-Man, right? But Spider-Man's gay as fuck. You full on have a quick time mission where you're deciding with your partner who's going to get to be on top, right? That can't come out of the game. It needs to stay in the game. And if the Middle East and all the people there, let's say the laws are like, no, we can't have that. But the people, they really want the Spider-Man game and they don't care that it's gay. They're going to be like, hey, government, fuck you, right? It's going to be up to those people to make changes to the laws and all that stuff and do the best that they can. You know, it sucks if they can't buy the product at first, but it's more important to have the product remain whole than it is to get a few extra dollars, you know? At least that's how I feel, you know? It's a good thing Spider-Man's able to break his fall. And it's just, yeah. You can decide who will get the pink eye. No. That's not how gay sex works. I've read enough yaoi to be an expert on this, all right? None of them have ever ended up with pink eye, god damn it. Fuck. But yeah, so, you know, and that's, again, that's just how I personally feel. That's not how a business operates. That's not how countries obviously operate because they do have their own laws and they say that stuff can't be. But I just envisioned an idealistic world where everybody could make what they want, where nobody was bullied for it. There was no government censoring it. It's just entertainment. It's all fictional. It should exist. Nobody should be deleted over the things that they create for storytelling, for works of art and things like that. The free market should be able to decide what is successful, what is sought after, what is marketable, and that kind of thing. We'll just ask Ben and Beardo on the mechanics. Bless. That'll be the next topic. Why can't they have a Korean chick who's built like Sydney Sweeney, wearing skimpy outfits, running around, cutting down monsters with a sword? She keeps on her ponytail. Yeah, exactly. Have I read? What does she? I don't. Let me go see. What's it look like? Oh, I've seen it. Is this, hang on. I feel like I've seen fan art of this. I am adding this to the watch list. Lollipop Chainsaw, closest thing we're gonna get. So what is going on with that? Spider-Man 3, Miles is great. Oh god. Monkeypox edition. Fuck. What have I done? Look, I just you enjoy it if you like, yeah, you love it. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I bet you I'm super late to the party on that one. But yeah, no, I'll definitely check it out. I have a couple of novels upstairs that were translated from a Chinese author, and actually, this is one of my favorite things. So the back of it is a big appendix of Chinese words, terminologies, explanations of the culture, the time period that it's kind of referencing, and it's all very educational. That is the coolest fucking shit. I love that. There's also been Korean shorts, and this will now tie into another. Fuck, I'm just giving you guys tangents. I shouldn't do this. This will tie into censorship. But I've watched some Korean animation shorts. I fall in love with these like 6-minute episodes, and there's only a few of them. Jesus Christ! But there was one of them where they displayed something that was exclusive to the Korean culture of I can't pronounce any of it, but basically normally the younger person is very respectful to the elder. Well, they have something where I guess while you're eating or drinking, there's something that you can enact if both people agree to it, where the roles then get kind of reversed and the younger person can speak freely. And they obviously kept that in, but they translated it and they added like footnotes as to what that meant. And I paused the show so that way I could read everything about it. And again, that was the coolest fucking shit to me. I loved that. I learned something new. And even if that wasn't there, I would have gone and looked it up. I realized not everybody is like that, where they don't want to actively go look something up. They just want to engage with their fucking fictional content. But that ties into censorship and localization. I would much rather be confused on something than have that turned into just a normal conversation, you know, because it means the author wrote that in as a specific way to show the dynamic between two characters. And if you were to lose that in localization, that would bastardize the characters. That is important to the culture and it is important to the story. So when people talk about, you know, when I talk about localization, this is why I fucking hate it, because localizers would get rid of that. They would remove that context and they would have to, you know, do their own thing. And I don't want that. I don't want Kathy, who drinks her fucking Starbucks, who's some 24-year-old sitting in fucking California. Or I'm sorry, they're actually never even fucking 24-year-olds. This blew my mind, by the way. They're grown-ass fucking people who are older than me. Some 40-year-old fucking single woman who's drinking her Starbucks, sitting there like, oh my God, I'm so funny. Fuck the patriarchy. Oh my God, this is a boy love thing. They're not in love anymore. This is just a casual conversation. And by the way, one of the characters is now trans because he looks a little girly. La 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 la. No, fuck you. Fuck off. Fuck out of here. You are fucking terminally alone and miserable. Nobody wants what you have to say. I want what the author had to say. Anyway, that was a big, huge tangent to get there. I can't believe the censored version of Lollipop Chainsaw is the main marketing push and subtitle of the game. At least it has the uncensored version, so I'll buy it if actually uncensored. Yeah, so I need to look into what's going on with that. You read Yaoi for educational aspects too? Dude, I learned a lot from Yaoi, all right? I really do. I got introduced to all kinds of cool shit. But she has to she has to feed her cat. I hope these people don't have animals. They are too narcissistic for a fucking animal. It's insane. It's just insane. I don't like it. Sea lion pup, closest thing we're gonna get. Physical pictures of the OG. Yeah, I don't know. I know that there was some weird stuff though going on with that. But anyway, that's my thing. I realize again, not everybody feels that way. Like, no, well, you know, most people to make it appealing to the biggest audience. Then fuck the big audience. If you're too lazy to go look something up that's gonna take you all of 3 seconds to read about, fuck you. Fuck you. Oh, but I'm too tired and too... No, you're not. You're gonna go scroll on TikTok. You can learn something. It's not scary. Fuck you. What are they ready to being stuck? Exactly. I feel bad for the cat. I do too. I feel bad for the cats of the lunatics. It was actually quite refreshing to listen to basic cause, effect, and logical arguments in regarding to these current issues. Great stream. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, for me, it's all about following the logic. It's not just about, calling something woke and being done with it. I realize that works, So, like, I like to talk. I like to be breathy. Other people sum up everything I say by calling it, oh, she's fighting against woke shit, right? I don't use the word woke. I go on a diatribe that nobody has any time to read. So, I don't know. That's just what I do. That's what I like. I like to be specific. I like to talk about things logically. And not everybody has time to read it, but at least it's there for those who do. Yeah, you can project onto a cat. That is true. I do have some stories about a crazy... All right. I'm going to tell you one story about a crazy individual. This will probably get me demonetized, so I'm going to attempt to use... I'm looking for the time. 2:30. Okay. There was a girl who... So identity politics was not really a thing back then, but she was of a certain crowd. And she had a cat, and she told a story about what she does with her cat. Now we were young. This is high school. And I didn't really understand what was really happening because I was pretty naive. But basically this girl said that she would put tuna on her bat cave. And she would call her cat over. And of course, cat who wants to clean things cleaned up the bat cave. And that's my story. Oh, man. They should have this Professor Savvy chick on Saucy Saturdays. Labs could probably hook her up. I don't know what that is, but, if people want to invite me on, super cool, but I'll never, I don't want anybody to go out of their way to ask for things. I don't want to be a pest, God left the chat. Yeah. Man, I got some stories that are just fucked up. They're all like secondhand stories that other people did, but what the fuck, man? Yes, just like peanut butter with dogs. Yeah. So, so the next time you say that a woman's got a fish market down there, because, like, this is so terrible. Ever since that story, and people would make the joke about the hoo-ha's being smelly like fish, my mind would always jump to that story, and I'm like, why? I don't think a hoo-ha smells like fish. Why do other people? Is there an epidemic of women putting tuna in their bat cave? Like my perception of the world was so wildly different, I guess, from the average person. I just didn't understand it. I really didn't. I still don't. I don't understand anybody. Oh, man. But that's about it. All right. It's been 2 hours and 33 minutes. I think that's probably really... Her clam smells like salmon. It's not a good thing. Be concerned if there's a cat in the house. Yes. But yeah, so it's been 2 hours and 33 minutes. We'll go ahead and end it there. My throat is thoroughly smackledorfed. Yeah, what a note to end on. I'll do my best to always have a stupid story for the end. No, y'all aren't allowed to leave yet. All right. We're gonna do a thing. I said I was gonna end this on maximum fucking cringe. So I play a game. Ho, I am a gamer. My good friends, I am indeed a gamer, and I am also a non-gamer because I play mobile games. So I had bad luck. I had bad luck the other night. So I play a game called Pokemon Masters Sex, And it's basically a gacha game for collecting husbandos and waifus. And I don't give a fuck if you find me cringe. I think everybody's probably going to leave now because I'm about to get maximum fucking cringe. You're going to see just how unhinged I am. Fuck. So we got old man summer right now. We got middle-aged man summer vibes right now, right? So Larry is daddy. Larry is, he is peak. He might be advertised as just an ordinary man, and he might want to just be an ordinary man, but this man is quite literally not ordinary. Oh, and here's daddy. Here's fucking Lysander. Here's your Streamly reminder that Lysander did nothing wrong. I'm gonna get fucking canceled for that one. So yeah. Oh, there's daddy in the background. All right, so I'm gonna do one stream summons. You play Azerlang? Fuck yeah. Did you get your old man? No, I didn't. I used up all my gems and I didn't get them yet. So we are going to do a stream poll. We're going to pull them on stream. I'm even going to turn on the music here. So not normal men. He is extraordinary, but in order to do that, I do need to buy some fucking gems. I don't think I can support you after that take. I don't give a fuck. What do I need? How many gems do I fucking... Here we go. I can do this one. This one's cheap. I'm spending $8 to try to get Larry. I am literally a filthy piece of shit. I am so disgusting. I am the problem. I participate in microtransactions. Verification before you must tap continue. Why? I've never had to do this before. Hold on. I'm about to screech. I should have bought the gems prior to stream because now it's going to be... What the fuck? Oh, okay. It's just having me do a code. Fuck. All right, done. Verify. Go back. All right. Confession. The lore deepens. I have spent an insane amount on a game called Summoner's War. I'm not proud of it. Not proud of it at all. Did I get it? There we go. All right. So I have spent, well, how much? I was a streamer for the fucking game though, so it's slightly excusable, but I think I spent somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 on the fucking game, and I never got an LD Nat 5, and no. That's all I have to say. All right. This is peak daddy right here. So we are going, I need stream energy. I need stream energy right now. I need everybody. I was not a whale. I knew whales. I was nowhere. I was like, what's the smallest thing in the ocean? An amoeba. I was an amoeba compared to the whales that I knew. I need to turn this off from the low power mode. All right, so we are going to do this in the most low-class way possible so that way I can pull my phone away when my dad and... Actually, no, my dad shouldn't be calling. He always calls me when I use my phone. So hope you get Wally again. Fuck you. Fuck you. All right, so we're gonna do this, and we're going to go through the fucking animations, and I'm going to have it face for you guys. Chat, give me your fucking good luck. Give me all the luck. Give me... all the good energy. Send me your love. Please, for the love of God. I just want my daddy. Come on, Larry. Come on, you little fucker. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, Wolfric. You think that's Wolfric? We got no sparks yet. Come on, chat. All right, hang on, wait. I'm doing this and like, it's really awkward. Oh, wait. We got Stream Larry! Yes! Yes! Fuck! Yes! Fuck yeah! Fuck! $8! This man was $8! I'm so happy! Fuck! Stream was good luck! Stream was good fucking luck! Oh my god! Thank you! Holy shit, I got a little sweaty. I'm a little sweaty, chat. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god, I got daddy. Oh, I'm a little bit sweaty. This is disgusting. I need a shower now. Holy shit, man. Look at this man. He is perfection. Oh, if you ever want to see... my husband just texted me. You fucking good? Oh. There we go. So our homie actually, there's a YouTuber. Some of you might know him. Some of you guys might know who the YouTuber is, but for his English voice, it's our main man, Young Yeah. So go tell him congratulations on getting to be forever in history as Daddy's voice. God, I'm so happy. I'm so fucking happy right now. Like this is so fucking great. Thank you guys. You guys are the best. I'll never forget this moment. This is like literally the best first fucking stream of my life. There were like 60 more people that I thought would be here. It's super sweet. I thought it was just gonna be me, a bot, and my husband, maybe. So thank you. And we got you guys listen to me ramble. And I got my man. I got my Paldean daddy. I'm so happy. She's all our beginner's luck since we haven't played. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So good for him for getting to fucking be a Pokemon character. I would do all sorts of rituals to be able to voice act a Pokemon character. I really would. I need to max him out right now. Right now. Sorry. I'm now in gaming mode, so I'm going to use the photo mode. There's a cute little photo mode thing where you can put stuff together. I'm not going to show you what my current photo mode thing is because it's really fucking stupid and yaoi. Actually, no, maybe I should just be max cringe and show it. I already closed out anyway. But yeah, I would do all kinds of satanic rituals. I'm just kidding. I'm not. I would, if the Pokemon company was like, hey, would you like to voice something? I'd be like, don't pay me. I don't care. I just want to do it for free. I genuinely don't care. Like, I'm not the type of person to want monetary compensation to be part of something that I love. I think that's also my problem. Anyway, oh my God, I still ramble. 2:42. All right, so we've gone for 2 hours and 45 minutes roughly. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming to the HR basement. Your complaints have been filed away alphabetically, and we will come back. The power of many. Yay. Thank you. The HR basement episodes right now will be limited to Saturdays starting at 3. I will possibly play with that a little bit. Maybe we'll start adding 2 episodes a week. We'll see. This does give me a couple days, though, to go back and clip things that made sense and rambles. But yeah, so thank you guys so much. Thank you for coming to the HR basement. I love you guys and keep being wonderful and awesome. I really didn't deserve all this attention, so thank you so much. It's very, very, very kind of you to spend your time with me. You could be literally anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be with me. And for all the chatters, thank you for going the extra mile and saying hello. And I wish you all the best, wonderful day that you could possibly have. Goodbye! Yay! Yay!
Dead work sitting at my desk, ready to walk home. Can't wait to boot up my phone on my boring stroll. Jump into some AR goodness, see my little buddies. Gotta catch 'em all, keeping my soul alive. Just a wage slave by day, but a master at night. I log into my favorite app, see my Pikachu waving at me. What is that beside my best buddy? The way the Lord update, nobody asked for. Hit with the ugly stick of, oh my God, what is that? Hey, Pokemon Go, hack yourself. Now you can look as ugly in the game as you are in real life. Hey, you got no shape and your crotch is 2 feet long. What the hell is this pile of dung? I think I'll carve my eyes out with a knife. Standing looking at this new abomination, ready to toss my phone. There they go again, making dumb decisions. I just want to catch my gosh dang Caterpies. Been playing since 2016. This might finally break my Pokemon spree. Hey, Come on, go pack yourself. Now you can look